Welcome to the Veterans Corner segment of Monmouth in Focus, a program about the services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Sue Kiley, Deputy Director of the Monmouth County Board of County Commissioners and liaison to the Division on Aging, Disabilities, and Veterans Services. Today, we will meet Vietnam War veteran Bart Famian. Welcome, Bart. Thank you so much for being willing to be here with us and tell some of your story. Before we begin, though, you just told me something really amazing, and that is when did you talk about your service, or did you not talk about it? Just tell me that story again.
Oh, the climate in the country when I came home, we were not well received, so we just didn't talk about it. And it was quite a while before, I started speaking. And as I told you, I went to an event with Medal of Honor recipients, and that kind of changed everything.
That got it going.
Yeah.
And you said that you've come to grips with it more or feel better about your service.
I do.
Since
When I talk about it, it's kind of therapeutic.
I bet.
It helps you deal with everything that you kept inside for so long.
Sure, sure.
Being a medic, 19, 20 years old, seeing some of the things that I saw, and it was difficult at times.
Yeah.
But, now everybody knows about it.
Well, and that's a good thing. We want to be able to honor our veterans for the work and the dedication they put into keeping us safe.
Sure.
So it's always good to hear the stories, but then you just sympathize with what you went through.
Right.
And you were drafted.
I was.
How'd you feel about that?
Well, I was actually drafted on the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Wow.
So it made a difficult day more difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
Because I don't think anybody really knew what to expect. And we didn't know about it until we got off the plane in South Carolina, and there were armed guards there. And we thought that was a little odd.
Yeah.
And somebody told us what happened, and that we'd be escorted of the armed guard. And,
Jeez.
It was, quite an emotional.
So you did everything a little differently than most.
A little bit, yeah.
I had another question about learning, lessons you learned, or things that you would advise other veterans on if you had the opportunity, just based on having that experience.
Well, when I went into the Army, I was a 19-year-old kid. Was very responsible. Growing up in Brooklyn, the Army taught me. I think most people that know me today would say I'm a responsible, trustworthy person, and the Army had a lot to do with that. And being a medic had a lot to do with that.
That's great.
Teaching me responsibility and stuff like that. So I do thank the Army for that.
That's great. Yeah. What I just saw here that you were in the Cavalry Regiment in Vietnam, the Armored Cavalry.
Right, 11th
Tell me a little bit about that.
Black Horse Regiment.
Okay.
When I got there, my commanding officer was George Patton III.
Oh.
The son of George Patton, and he was actually quite a pacifist. He would go out of his way not to have a fight, unlike his dad. But when he left there, he gave a speech and he apologized for, the 40 or 50 guys that were killed under his command, and he said had he done a better job, maybe that number would have been less. And the guy that took over was just the opposite. He'd just go looking for a fight, and just things kind of changed a lot.
Changed a lot, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list of all of the medals that you achieved from all of your incredible work, and I just want to mention them, if that's okay.
Sure.
Let me see. You were awarded 2 Silver Stars, 2 Bronze Stars, 2 Purple Hearts, and the Army Commendation Medal for Valor. That's an incredible track record. Anything in particular you want to say about any of those?
Well, I mean, the Silver Stars are obviously the highest ones. The first Silver Star, my commanding officer of that was an ambush. My commanding officer received the Medal of Honor. You need 3 witnesses, and I was one of the witnesses, and I never knew. I never saw him again after that. I never knew he got the medal. And I was sitting in my backyard with my brother one day, and he's reading a magazine. It's about 5 years later. He says to me, "What was the name of your commanding officer?" I said, "Harold Fritz." He says, "He got the medal." And I never knew it.
No kidding.
I never knew it.
Wow.
And we've struck up a relationship. I talk to him quite often.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're still buddies. You know, there's a lot less of us now.
I have one more question for you, Bart.
Sure.
I saw that when you were a medic working over in Vietnam, that not only did you do physical care for these men, but you also did a lot of emotional and mental coaching or counseling for them. How was that like?
Well, during training, I remember one of the instructors said to us that, you know, in your platoon, you know, there's, and I'll use the armored cab as, you know, there'll be 8 to 10 ACABs, there'll be 20 gunners, 10 tank commanders, 10 drivers, but there'll only be 1 medic. He says, you're going to be their rabbi, their priest, and their bartender.
Yeah.
And they're going to come to you with, my girlfriend hasn't written me in 3 weeks. What do you think I should do? My mom's in the hospital. She's not feeling well. What do you think I should do? He says, you need to have an answer. They need to have confidence in you. And he says, even if you pull it out of thin air, just have something to tell them, you know, because they look up to you. You know, you're their medic.
And they count on you for, right, obviously, for their health.
You know, you want to earn the name doc, you know, and I think I did that. So
that's great.
I'm very proud of that.
Great, great.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Bart, for joining us today and sharing your experiences. That, unfortunately, is all the time we have. So we will see you next time.